Look, I keep telling you for the millionth time, I'm not telling you where I got you for Christmas. So you might as well just stop trying to figure out where I got you for Christmas, because I'm not telling you. Something is up on my right, so I'm going to have to call you back. And I'm going to talk about it. So I'm going to have to call you back. Yeah. Let's talk about this, shall we? Intro guy. What? He won't be around for what? 4 days. I might as well use intro guy for a second. So let's do it.
Skip it up and that up.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. It's your boy True Inferno, and today's date is, what is today's date? Saturday, December the 22nd. So, we are now 3 days away for Christmas. Let's talk about that, shall we? So, here's a little bit of a news breaker for you guys. So, this coming Tuesday, which is Christmas, I will not come out with a video. So, because of the fact I'm not sure how many of you guys will spend Christmas on your computers, on your laptops, watching YouTube videos or whatever, I decided to play it safe and not release a video this Tuesday. So this video will be the last one you will see until Thursday. But I will come out with a video on New Year's Day. That will happen. So don't worry about that. But don't expect a Christmas video from me. So from this point here, I'm going to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and, you know, happy celebrations of these times that we're currently living in right now. So there you go with that. And here's something that should hold you over until next Thursday. I will be live streaming Sunday, so the shiny competition is back. So yes, the shiny competition will be going on. It will start at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, I will start the coverage of it at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it will go on until sometime after 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, more likely until 7:30. So there's that. And then Monday, which is Christmas Eve, I will do my Pokemon Go live stream on Christmas Eve. I don't have a time for that yet, but expect another live stream to be on Christmas Eve. So I got 2 live streams on Sunday and Monday. That should hold you over until next Thursday, where I'll be back with another video. So with the upcoming schedule now out there and out the way, let's talk about today's video. So as you can see over there, there's the second experiment of my Meltan experiment, rather. So I opened another mystery box, and I sat in one spot, and I lured up 3 Pokestops. So basically what I want to see is whether or not the lure modules will affect the amount of Meltans that spawn. And some of you may know the answer to this already, but I wanted to see for sure, and I wanted to test it out. So the answer to that question is no, it does not. So over there, you just seen me fast forward through that whole 30 minutes, and you saw what happened. And, you know, long story short, in regards to that, I caught 20 Meltans. So 20 popped up, and I caught all 20 of them. So that was more than what popped up when I was walking around. So apparently, the best strategy is to just stand still so far. There's still another test I want to do, and that's with an instance on. So, and more likely when I have the instance on, I'm going to be standing still again. That would more likely be the last test, since the lure modules did absolutely nothing in regards to the Meltans that was popping up. So the instance will be the third and final test to see whether or not more will pop up, because I have the instance on and I'll be standing still this time. I will not be moving around. So with that out the way, let's talk about what I showed you guys at the beginning of this video that made me end my phone conversation. And that is, out of 24,000 of you guys that voted on a poll that Trainer Tips created a number of days back, 52% of 24,000 plus said that they don't care about PvP. And I look at that voting poll and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not alarmed by it. I'm not alarmed by it. I'm not concerned by it. There's 2 reasons why. The first reason is because it's barely over half. Like, I mean, come on. It only just 2% over half. I mean, so should I be alarmed by it? No. Should you be alarmed by it? No. But, you know, it is interesting, but it's not alarming, to say the least. So it's not like, oh man, PvP is dying, PvP in trouble, or anything like that. No, it's nothing of the sort. But it is interesting that out of 24,000 plus, 52% of that number, 52% of those people does not care for PvP. And the second reason why it's not alarming is this. You gotta keep this in mind. There is way more than 24,000 people who have accounts in Pokemon Go. There's way more than 24,000 people who actually plays Pokemon Go. So that poll does not represent the entire amount of people that plays Pokemon Go, or even the entire amount of accounts that are active in Pokemon Go. Remember, there's some people out there who have more than one accounts. Anywho, but yeah, there you go with that. So, even though that is like a telling, you know, in terms of the amount of people who don't care or whatever, it's not alarming, and this doesn't represent the entire Pokemon Go players, I guess. Not just, no, we're going beyond the community. We talk about everybody who actually plays Pokemon Go. So some of those people may not be a part of the community. So even though that is a telling number, but it doesn't represent everything as a whole. So that's why I'm looking at the poll, and I'm looking at the results of the poll, and I'm like, okay. No, seriously, this is me right here. So, now, that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about, though, is some of the people who have these negative reactions towards PvP. So, before we get to that, let's talk about how do I feel about PvP. So, what do I feel about PvP Pokemon Go as it is now? I mean, it's good. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but it's good. It's not bad, but it's good nevertheless. Because here's the thing, you know, and I'll break it down in terms of, you know, why people complain, and I can find a counter for just about anything people have issues with when it comes to anything just about, especially if it's justified. But anywho, let's talk about PvP rather. So basically, one of the main issues is, you know, the bugs and things of that nature. Okay, there's no counter against that. Like, yeah, there are bugs in there. Now, in terms of like, you know, the game freezing and, you know, things of that nature, yeah, there's no counter against that. Niantic do need to work on that to prevent the game from freezing up like that. And the other issue is lag. Now, the only kind I can say about that is go to a different spot, you know, like move a few feet or a few yards away from where you're at and try again. That's the only recommendation. That's the only thing I can recommend for you guys, rather. But the bugs, yeah, without question, they need to be fixed. And that's like the only bugs that I personally ran into that I have seen where, you know, you're doing PvP and it freezes. So that's the only one that I spotted. And we've seen this in the actual tournament, in the first the first broadcast PvP tournament. So it's there, and it needs to be worked on by Niantic. So yeah, we can all agree on that one. Now, in terms of all that there is to do in this PvP feature, which is tap 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 tap, wait for it. Tap 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 tap. Now, like, I mean, and basically saying there's no strategy to it. I mean, come on now, there's strategy. There's a bunch of strategy to this, man. So first off, when you even pick your Pokemon, when you pick your 3 Pokemon, you gotta use strategy right off the bat. Strategy over, done. Yeah, I won. But no, seriously, you gotta use strategy right there because you don't know what your opponent will pick. You don't know which Pokemon your opponent will choose. Now, granted, you could make an argument and say, well, we could like say pick 3 Delibirds like we did in Holly's last live stream, which I was a part of. So yes, me and Holly, we battled each other using nothing but Delibirds. So I mean, there's something like that where you can put like restrictions and requirements and things of that nature, like use nothing but all Mewtwo's, nothing but Shinies, nothing but Legendaries, nothing but Delibirds, or whatever the case may be. Okay, that's fine and dandy. But when you are in a normal battle, yeah, you don't know what your opponent is going to use, which means you have to do some form of research to see, okay, which Pokemon is the best in terms of attacking and withstanding the attacks from just about every other Pokemon your opponent could bring towards you. So yeah, you gotta do some research, you gotta use some strategy when it comes to selecting your main party. So I'm not sure how many of you guys are thinking of doing this competitively. You know, I am, but if you're not, okay, then you don't have to worry about it as much. But if you are, yeah, that's a form of strategy that you have to take into consideration. You definitely need to take into consideration, especially if you're trying to do this competitively. So then after that, then you, obviously whichever Pokemon you selected. Now, whichever one's in that number 1 spot, the one on the left, which is right here. The one on the left, my left, your right, no, my right, your left, wherever right here. That's the one that go be summoned first to start off the battle. So you, right out the gate, either you could have an advantage because you could have a Vaporeon and your opponent could have a Larvitar, or you could be at a disadvantage. It could be the other way around. And then at that point, you or your opponent may be forced to switch. So for example, let's say I start off the PvP battle with a Vaporeon and my opponent start off with a Larvitar. Uh-oh, my opponent's in trouble. So what they're gonna do, they're going to switch. So now they're gonna bring out a Venusaur. So now I'm in trouble. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna switch and bring out Charizard. And because of that right there, you gotta be careful in terms of which Pokemon you bring out when it comes to switching things of that nature, because again, your opponent may have a counter for it. So you have to take that into consideration as well, because there is a switch cooldown, so you can't constantly switch. So once you switch a Pokemon, you can't switch again for a certain number of times, so a certain amount of time rather. So there's some strategy involved with that. So when it comes to switching, you got to make sure that you are selecting your best, not necessarily your best Pokemon, but it's more like a guess, because you don't know what your opponent will have for the most part. So it's all about picking what you think would be the best option to replace your Pokemon that is out right now. So again, there's a bit of strategy that comes to play there. Now, another thing that involves strategy is whether or not your Pokemon should know a second move. So I think I said this before, whether it was in a video or in a live stream, but there's certain Pokemon out there that will know a move that could be used as a counter against that Pokemon's counter. So for example, and this is a crappy example, this does not exist, but it's the only one I can think of. So again, let's say I got a Vaporeon and my opponent got a Venusaur. So obviously Venusaur is a grass type, which is effective against water type Vaporeon. So what do I do? Well, Vaporeon's second move is Blast Burn, which is a fire type, which is effective against grass types, Venusaur. So again, crappy example, but there are Pokemon like that that do have a secondary charge move that can go towards their counters. So there you go with that. But so you have to determine whether or not does your Pokemon rather second charge move could know a move that could be used as a counter for its counters. If it do, sweet, get it. If it don't bother with it. So yeah, for the most part, don't bother with it. So yeah, you gotta take that into consideration. That's a bit of research they have to do, and another form of strategy. And another form of strategy that comes to play during the battle is the shields. Like, when do you use your shields? Do you use the shields early in the battle, or do you use them later on in the battle? And you know, it depends on what your Pokemon is, or what your opponent Pokemon is, and whether it's effective against yours or not effective against yours. You got to know, like, what is effective against what and what is not effective against what. So things of that nature. So when it comes time to use the shield, so again, if my opponent is a Venusaur and I got a Vaporeon and I'm using Hydro Pump, my opponent better not use that shield, because Hydro Pump won't be as effective towards that Venusaur. It could do some damage, yeah, because it's a powerful move, but it won't be as effective, so it shouldn't do a lot of damage. Therefore, my opponent should not use any shield. So you know, you got to take that into consideration. That's another form of strategy as well. And there's so much to it when it comes to PvP that is not just tap, 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 tap. I ain't gonna do that again. But it's more to it than just tap, tap, tap. Obviously, you don't dodge. You got the shields. You got to know the effective types, things of that nature. You got to strategize which Pokemon is best suited for your party when it comes to competitive play, if you take a part in competitive play, things of that nature. And another reason why PvP is great is because look at the friendship level. Like, for example, I believe it was Zori 2000 who came up with this strategy. I've seen this strategy in one of her videos, and that is this. When you're sending out gifts or opening gifts, it's best to do that for those who are not ultra friends with you, because ultra friends on up, you can actually battle them, and that would go towards your friendship level. So you have another way of building up your friendship level with more of your friends. So that's another good thing about PvP. Obviously, another good thing about PvP is that you can get Sinnoh Stones. So can you really complain about PvP outside from the bugs? I mean, you can always find something to complain about, but to me, I think PvP is good as it is. Could it be better? Could it be better, rather? Yeah, it could be better, but I think it's fine as is. So, you know, obviously Niantic still needs to make some improvements on it. Now, there's one more thing that I want to talk about, and then I'm gonna call it a wrap on this video, is this. The fact that they only gave us PvP and nothing else. So what I mean by nothing else is, they don't mention the stats in terms of how many battles you, well, I mean, they do mention how many battles you won. Just look at your medals and things of that nature. But they don't mention how many battles you lost, who you faced, and things of that nature. And there's no leaderboard and things of that nature, and blah, blah, blah. And let me ask you guys a question. When it was, no, it's well known throughout this community that Meltan is the #1 ranked Pokemon Go player in the world. Where did that ranking come from? Certainly not from Niantic, not from the Pokémon Company. Where did it come from? I mean, it came from us. It came from us. Somebody out there took it upon themselves to come up with a ranking system to determine who is the #1, #2, #3, so forth, whatnot, ranked Pokemon Go player in the world. So somebody, one of us, came up with that system to do that. So why can't one of us come up with our own leaderboard for PvP and things of that nature? Oh, right, that's right, the Silk Road art. And actually, they're supposed to come out with an announcement for all the Discord leaders to take part in competitive leagues and things of that nature. Some point today. So there you go with that. So I don't understand why people would complain about us having to come up with our own leaderboard system, things of that nature. You know somebody's going to. So I don't see what the big deal is. And I want to compare Pokemon Go to the likes of other games, not necessarily mobile games, but other games like Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, Tekken 7, Call of Duty, Black Ops 2, 3, 4, whatever. And that is this. Those games are tailored towards fighting games, shooting games. So when it comes to their online play, yeah, they have a ranking system, things like this, because more than likely they have a better database to keep tabs of what's going on when it comes to their online matches and things of that nature. Pokemon Go is more to it than just PvP. If it was PvP only, if this game was solely based on PvP only, yeah, you best believe there better be a leaderboard system here. But it's not. It's more to it than just PvP. It's raiding, it's trading. You got to send gifts. You got to hatch eggs. You got to catch Pokemon. You got to catch Pokemon with dipping IVs. You got to, you know, see what's up with your friends list. You got to manage up to 200 friends and things of that nature. There's so much to do in Pokemon Go outside of just PvP. It's kind of hard in terms of like a technical level to add a leaderboard that could change, that could be different things of that nature on any given time. So you gotta keep that into consideration as well. So do I want to see a leaderboard in Pokemon Go? I mean, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, sure, knock yourself out. But am I bent? Like, if I head over heels over the fact that there's no leaderboard system in Pokemon Go, whether it's for PvP, raiding, or whatever? No, I'm not. Because again, somebody took it upon themselves to determine that Meltan is the #1 ranked Pokemon Go player based on whatever. So why can't we do the same thing when it comes to PvP? That's all I'm saying. Alright, so I'm gonna call it a wrap. So in case you're wondering how many Meltans I caught over there, I actually caught 20 Meltans. I think I mentioned that earlier in this video. But I'm gonna call it a wrap because this is a really long video. So with that said, y'all know who this is. This is your boy, the new Jigga Ass Me, aka the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah, I'm really tired, man. Fade out. Tap 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 tap.
After you subscribe to the channel, make sure you click the bell icon so you never miss a new video or a live stream ever again. Thanks, guys.
Living in a world where tomorrow's never promised. Last of a dying breed, rather find honest. Got me feeling like an onyx. My heart was getting hard till I looked to the sky. Say I'ma leave it to God, then embark on this path. Journey of a lifetime. Everybody rhyme, but not a lot I co-sign. Define the mind's capability.